Welcome to this explainer. So, we've got a real mission today, navigating the highly deceptive, overwhelmingly bright, and honestly, kind of confusing 2026 smart TV market. If you've set foot in an electronics store lately, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You just get hit with this massive wall of screens, aggressive marketing jargon, and price tags that literally range from suspiciously cheap to the price of a used car. The whole market is essentially designed to excite you, confuse you, and push you towards pricier models loaded with features you probably don't even need. But hey, we're not falling for those marketing gimmicks today. No way. We're going to safely navigate this minefield together using a rock-solid strategy mapped out in our source material. Okay, let's dive into this. Think of this as your step-by-step survival map. We'll navigate the marketing minefield, let your room decide, decode TV specifications, cover sizing and budgeting, and finally wrap up with sound and maintenance. By the end of this, you're going to have a foolproof strategy for buying a TV with absolute confidence. Section 1. The Marketing Minefield. Let's expose that showroom deception. So picture this. You're staring at that giant wall of TVs, and the ones that immediately catch your eye are just blinding you with these super vibrant neon-like colors, right? Well, that is what we call showroom mode. Retailers deliberately put displays into this setting because those oversaturated poppy colors cut right through the harsh fluorescent lights of the store. It's a setting designed literally just to trick your eye and make one display look dramatically better than the one sitting next to it. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Those settings are completely unrealistic for your actual living room. If you brought that TV home and watched a movie in showroom mode, every single actor would look like they have a severe sunburn. So your absolute first line of defense, always ask the salesperson to grab the remote and switch the picture mode over to home cinema or standard. Only then are you actually seeing what the TV can really do. Moving on to Section 2, let your room decide. It's all about anchoring your choice to your specific environment. Believe it or not, your actual viewing room is the absolute most important factor when picking a panel. Right now, there's this massive dueling debate in the TV world, OLED versus QLED. But according to our guide, this shouldn't be about brand loyalty at all. It all comes down to sunlight. If you've got a bright room with tons of sunlight pouring in, or maybe just really bright overhead lights, you absolutely want to go with a QLED or mini LED. These panels pack the high brightness needed to blast right through ambient light, keeping your screen from looking totally washed out. On the flip side, if your room is dark, like you're the type to draw the curtains for movie night, OLED is the undisputed king. And as a quick aside, if you're just looking for a really safe all-rounder that kicks butt in both day and night conditions, mini LED is generally your best bet. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why OLED completely dominates in dark rooms. You see, the magic of OLED tech is that it allows each individual pixel to turn off completely when it needs to display black. Think about standard LED TVs for a second. The backlight is always running. So in a dark room, shadows or the black bars on a movie often end up looking kind of milky or gray. But because an OLED panel just shuts those specific pixels off entirely, you get perfect, absolute darkness. The blacks are actually black. It gives you this infinite contrast ratio that is honestly just stunning when the lights are down. Section 3. Decoding TV specifications. Time to strip away all those confusing marketing stickers. Okay, so HDR, it stands for High Dynamic Range, and it's heavily marketed to promise incredible brightness and insane shadow detail. You'll see fancy logos like HDR 10 Plus and Dolby Vision slapped on pretty much everything. But let's look at this because it visually exposes what our source calls a straight-up scam on budget TVs. To actually get real HDR, a screen needs a brightness of at least 800 to 1200 nits. That's the horsepower you need to display those blinding highlights. However, a lot of budget TVs flaunting that HDR sticker, they max out at just 350 to 400 nits. They literally do not have the physical hardware capability to display real HDR. It makes the sticker on the box essentially meaningless. So, moral of the story, don't get fooled by the logo, always check the nits. Speaking of flashy box stickers, what about the two biggest buzzwords in the modern TV world right now? 120 Hz refresh rates and 8K resolution. I mean, everywhere you look, brands are trying to upsell you on these, framing them as absolute must-haves for a future-proof setup. So as an everyday buyer, do you actually need to drop cash on these expensive upgrades? No. No, you do not. Unless you are a hardcore gamer glued to a high-end PC or a top-tier console pushing 120 frames per second, 120 Hz refresh rate is total overkill. If you're just kicking back watching movies, YouTube, or regular sports broadcasts, 60 Hz is perfectly fine. And 8K? Okay, sure, it sounds amazing on paper, But right now, it is entirely pointless. There is practically zero 8K content out there to even watch. Plus, at normal sitting distances, your eyes probably won't even be able to tell the difference from a standard 4K screen anyway. Seriously, save your money. Section 4. Sizing and Budgeting. Right, let's get into the practical numbers for a perfect fit. Now, picking a screen size shouldn't just be a contest of buying the biggest piece of glass you can afford. It actually needs to be tied to your viewing distance. Otherwise, you're going to end up with some serious eye strain. Here's your essential cheat sheet. If your couch is 4 to 6 feet away, a 32 to 43-inch screen is your target. Sitting 7 to 10 feet back, you're in what experts call the sweet spot for a 55 to 65-inch TV. And if you've got a massive living room and sit 10 plus feet away, then yeah, you can totally justify a 75-inch giant. But here's a fascinating psychological quirk our guide points out. A big screen might feel completely overwhelming in your living room for the first few days, but your brain adapts to it incredibly fast. On the flip side, buying a screen that's too small for your space, that almost always leads to long-term buyer's remorse. So if you're on the fence, definitely err slightly on the larger side. So what's all this going to cost you? Let's lay out the realistic budget tiers so you know exactly what to expect for your money. And our source data is incredibly specific here, right down to the cent. If your budget is under roughly $314, you're looking at a 43-inch 4K screen with average brightness, perfect for a bedroom or light usage. The real sweet spot for most households is between $418 and $732. That's going to get you a solid 55 to 65-inch QLED panel. Now, once you cross that $1,045 threshold, you are officially in premium cinematic territory. 75-inch screens, OLEDs, top-tier mini LEDs, the whole shebang. Oh, and a quick insider tip. Try to time your purchase around major festival days or huge shopping holidays. It's the absolute best way to score massive discounts and basically level up your budget tier. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 5, Sound and Maintenance Survival. These are your post-purchase essentials. Here's a harsh truth about modern, ultra-thin TVs. No matter how much cash you drop on them, the built-in audio is almost guaranteed to be terrible. The physical constraints of those super skinny screens just do not leave room for decent speakers. But for a surprisingly exact and really cheap sum, around $31 according to our guide's estimates, you can bypass that entirely by just grabbing a budget soundbar. That tiny little investment will give you a vastly superior audio experience compared to suffering through the hollow, tinny speakers built into the television itself. Beyond fixing the sound, there are 3 critical post-purchase survival steps you need to take the second you plug that new TV in. Step 1, plug it straight into a surge protector. Power fluctuations are no joke, and this is absolutely vital to avoid frying the delicate internal boards and facing massive repair bills. Step 2, grab the remote, dive into the settings, and immediately turn off motion smoothing. That's the feature that creates that weird, unnatural soap opera effect and causes serious eye fatigue. Just turn it off and watch movies the way the director actually intended. And step 3, run regular software updates. Honestly, treat your smart TV like a giant smartphone. Keeping the software updated fixes bugs and ensures the user interface stays nice and snappy over the years. Okay, we're at the finish line. Before you even think about handing over your credit card, run through this rapid-fire final tactical summary. Ask yourself these 5 core questions from our guide. 1. Is the room dark or bright? 2. How far away will I sit? 3. Am I mostly watching movies at 60 Hz or hardcore gaming at 120 Hz? 4. Do I care more about pure visual performance or a super smooth smart operating system interface? And 5. Does the brand I'm buying actually have a reliable local service center in my area, just in case things go wrong? You are now fully armed with all the knowledge you need. You know exactly how to dodge that showroom dissection, decode all those meaningless marketing stickers, size your screen perfectly, and dial in the settings right out of the box. So here's the final question, and it's totally up to you. Will you let the blinding lights and oversaturated colors of the showroom dictate your choice? Or will you use this ultimate buying strategy to take absolute control of your living room? The power is entirely in your hands. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy hunting out there in the 2026 TV market.